Hello ladies, welcome back to the channel. It's been so long since I have sat down with you ladies and just had a little quick goddess check-in with you all here on YouTube. I have been so busy with my wedding. As you all know, I recently got married and then we went on our honeymoon, and before then I was just planning a wedding. I was, doing all of that build up before. And then after the wedding, I had to come and move into my husband's home. As you ladies know, I did not move in completely with my husband until we got married. So I had to do all of that. And now we're in the middle of a renovation that I am managing, I guess, the renovation. So all of that has been going on, so I haven't really had a moment to sit down and connect with you ladies on a video, but I have saw your comments and I've been responding to those, and all you ladies who's emailed me, and we've had goddess check-ins together. So I have made time for that, but I just haven't made time to actually sit down and record another video. So that is what I am doing today, and I'm super excited about it. Thank you so much to all the new subscribers. I see you, I appreciate you, and thank you so much. I feel like, we're connecting. So yes, let's get into this video. Okay, ladies, so as you all know, I have my notebook here and I have the couple of things that I want to talk to you ladies about today. Now, the whole idea of doing things that, say, a husband and wife will do when you're just a girlfriend has been something that I have been seeing so much of lately. And of course, since I just got married and I have to do a bunch of things like changing my name, putting my names in properties, doing all of these marital things that my husband, has had me to do, he has to do my health insurance, he has to add me as beneficiaries, he has to just do a bunch of things that I would never do with someone unless I was married with them, like putting my name on his credit cards, on his bank accounts, and all those things that we have to do that people do without even getting married. And that is why I'm making this video. If you've seen a recent video that is floating around online of this woman who had a joint account with her boyfriend, and he ended up using the money in account and buying a house that she did not like, that she didn't approve of, that she didn't even sign her name on, and he bought it, meaning that he is the owner of the home, and he used the money from the joint account, which she said was 70% of the account was her money. And essentially, even if she wanted to bring claims to this man, even if she wanted to sue him, her case would be very weak because it's a joint account. He did absolutely nothing wrong in the eyes of the law. And because she's not married to him, he could essentially not have to put her on the house at all. He would basically own the house with her money as a down payment. And that to me was so crazy. But also I felt bad for her. But then I thought, she put herself in that position. And I have seen this so much where women are buying houses with their boyfriends. They're getting pets with their boyfriends. They're, investing together with their boyfriends. And essentially, it's just your boyfriend. It's not your husband, and you need to treat it that way. Now, as I said before, I did not move in with my husband until we actually got married. I stayed at his home a couple of times. Obviously, he came down to where I live and stuff like that, but I did not officially move in. Officially didn't give up where I was living, didn't do any of those things until I got married, because that was the right thing to do for my situation, because I can't trust anybody. Up until my husband married me, then I actually felt in my heart that he loved me. And that's me just being honest. I felt a whole completely different experience once my husband married me. I was like, okay, this guy really loves me. Once my husband started putting my name on all his property and all of his like actual assets, I was like, this guy really loves me. This guy is really putting, me into his life, and he's fitting me into his life. But I wasn't going to do any of those things. I wasn't going to, even asked to do any of those things until I knew he was going to be with me, because I don't believe in like putting my life together with someone if you don't choose to actually commit to me 100% and legally bond yourself to me. Because this long-term girlfriend, that relationship usually doesn't end up in marriage. And that's something that I want you ladies to really like hone in on, like this whole idea of like a stay-at-home girlfriend. Like, I like the idea, like, yeah, ladies, like, your man should be a provider. He should want to provide for you, and if that allows you to stay at home, great, perfect. But you should always try to become the wife, because it legally protects you. Let me tell you ladies a little quick story. There's this woman, she's in her 70s, and she was with this man for about 25 years. I believe he's in his 70s as well. And one day he decided that he was going to walk away from the relationship. They were never married. He took care of her. He took care of all the bills. They were together for 25 years. Never married. He had kids from a previous relationship. I guess they didn't get along with the woman, and they gave him an ultimatum and said it's either us or her, and he chose his children. So then she was no longer his woman. He stopped providing for her. She can't pay for her medical bills. She can't pay for the house. He needs to kick her. He's kicking her out of the house essentially, and she has nowhere to go. Again, she's 70. She can't really go out and go make more money, and the law doesn't protect her because she was never married to him. This type of story, which is super tragic, because she was actually then going to file bankruptcy, because at that point she couldn't afford to pay her bills. She had medical bills, she had like things going on, and she essentially had to file for bankruptcy, and she's dealing with like getting kicked out, getting evicted essentially from her ex-boyfriend of 25 years. And this is the kind of thing that like women have to remember when they're just like playing house with a man, or hopefully you're not playing house with a boy, but even playing house with a man and not actually getting married to that man, you're actually not protecting yourself, because once you're married, you're legally bonded to each other. So if a man has been taking care of you for 25 years and you never worked and he always take care of you, he can't just walk away and leave you to figure it out. The law will make him have to continue to provide for you until you decide to get married again. And that's the protection us as women need, especially if you're not going to be working and you've been depending on somebody. So that's the only thing that I have to say about like the stay-at-home girlfriend trend, is that don't just stay a girlfriend. Make sure that you at least get some money, if anything, and you're stacking your money and protecting yourself. But you want to get married still, so you can have that true protection, and you're just not left for dead if he decides he wants to walk away. So just wanted to put that out there. These kind of things, like I was saying before, of like getting a house together, women think like I've seen this so many times where they have a baby by a guy and they're like, well, we should buy a house together and we should, have this family together. And in the reality, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds good. But you're just his girlfriend. And in reality, he may tell people, or even you're just his baby mama. And you getting a house with him isn't going to change that. You saying I'm going to pay half of the house with you isn't going to change that. You really do need to respect yourself and know that your time and energy is worth more than just a girlfriend, a baby, or anything like that. So like getting a house with someone, I mean, unless you're really just doing business with them, it's a clearly a business contract. And I've seen this multiple times where it's like, you know, the horror stories that happen in these situations really come from like the older generation. Like, because I see like 45-year-olds who are in these long-term relationships and never got married, and they have to go through hoops to protect themselves and make sure that things are written in a way where the woman will still benefit in certain things. You have to really like put yourself in contract with your partner essentially, and you don't have like that automatic protection just because you're married. You have to then like really go in and like say joint partnership and this and this and this, and it has to be split up in 50-50. It's just like a whole headache. So I know like a lot of people or a lot of men try to say like, I don't believe in marriage, I don't need the government involved in my relationship and my love life and all that stuff. But in reality, like, the government's already involved. You got a social security number, you have a license, you have you live on this land, you got a cell phone. The government's already involved. So that is just another excuse to not actually give you what you need to protect yourself. And ladies, you have to protect yourself, especially when a guy doesn't want to marry you and it's been so much time. Like, that's a huge red flag to me. It's like, wait, what's going on? Why wouldn't you want to marry me, especially if we've been in this relationship for a long time? So please just, you know, brace yourself, because I know women, we tend to want, like, if we want to get married, if we want like all of like what it looks like to have a family, we will do everything in our power to make it happen. So if that means having your baby, she will have the baby. If that means, you know, go getting a house with you and moving in with you, or you moving in with her, she will let that happen. If that means, you know, getting pets together, she will let that happen. She will do all of the things that resemble her idea on her end. But on his end, he's not doing any of that. He's not doing the thing that's going to actually give you what you're looking for, and that is a marriage, a true partnership. And that can only be accomplished through marriage. Like, in the reality, like when I got married and we were saying our vows, when I heard those words, because that was the first time I actually heard them, and we did like the traditional way of when they, you know, say them and then we say them back. And when my husband was saying them to me, I was like, so this is the part where women will run away. Like, I could understand a runaway bride, because those words that are being said and that you have to say back are so powerful. You're making an oath to your partner. You're literally like binding yourself with this person, and you're swearing to do it. And it's like very powerful. It's a very powerful experience, especially for my spiritual ladies. Like, you know what I mean when it's like very like, okay, this is for real. This is like, I'm actually doing this. So that's why I was like, I can understand why people will run away at that point, you know, because it's just kind of like, okay, if you're not serious, I don't know if marriage is for you, because it feels different once you actually say those words. But like I said, if you want that, if that's your goal, you're not going to get that by doing everything else except that. You know, if you really want marriage, then wait for marriage. You're worth marriage. You're worth getting married to. You're worth, you know, that proposal. You're worth that wedding. You're worth what you want. And you should wait for that to happen before you jump the gun and try to do everything else that resembles it without the actual thing that's going to protect you, the actual thing that's going to give you really what you want, if it's marriage that you want. Instead of just waiting for it, I'm seeing so many women just do everything that they think resembles it. And that's the issue that a lot of women, especially the older women who've done it and have been doing it for years now, and they're now seeing the backside of it, and they're really like hurting themselves. And I've seen it in too many instances, especially recently, and especially since I just got married, and I'm now looking at, you know, what all of these things that I had to do. Because like I told you ladies before, like before I turned 30, I really wasn't in the mindset of like getting married. Like, I knew I wanted to get married, but I was never like so serious about it that I didn't really go at like dating or anything like that with like the marriage on my mind. So I never really like moved in with a guy. I never like I was just out having fun. I had a great relationship with my past boyfriends, but I was never like serious about like I want to settle down with this person. This is why I'm with them. And so I never like went and got a pet with someone, never got like, not saying that this is not what people wanted. I mean, I got proposed to, I got offers to move in with people. I just never took them up on it because I didn't want that. That's not what my focus was. And now that, I'm married and this is what I'm doing, and I see like all of the things like that people do, that married people do, and then people who are doing it that aren't married, I'm like, why would you even do that if you're not married? Like, I would never buy a house with a guy. I would never buy a house with a guy that I'm not married to. That to me is like waiting for disaster, because it's like, if you guys don't end up getting married, you're gonna have to deal with this guy unless you sell the property. You're going to have to deal with this guy, even if you're together or not, for a very long time. And the same thing. I waited to have children until I was married, and I couldn't imagine having a child with someone that I wasn't married to. Like, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to like have to like be connected to you and then have to deal with like you for like however long that we deal with each other. I don't want to deal with that. Like, I would rather wait till I get married, have my children, buy a house with you. If I'm going to buy a house by myself, that's different. But if I'm going to buy a house with a partner, it's going to be my husband. That's just what it is. And honestly, a lot of these women who, like the women I spoke about before, who put 75% of her money inside of the joint account was coming from her, I would never have a joint account with the guy and put the majority of the money in it. Like, I'm okay if a guy wants to put me on a joint account and I'm just his girlfriend or whatever. That's fine. But I would not be putting any money in it. Like, that's just an account that you're putting money in and that I get access to. It's not going to be me putting money in it, and let alone putting the majority of the money in it. Like, that was crazy to me. And it was like she was looking to get scammed. She was looking to get got, because there's no way that I would put that much money in, or money at all. Like, you ladies know that is not my style. I don't believe in putting any money in, and I don't believe in paying half of anything. Like, I wouldn't be buying a house with the guy unless he was buying the house for me, because I had no money to put in. And that's just my way of doing things, and it works for me, works for my husband. So that's just how I think of things. I don't really go in with money when it comes to men. I think that is what men do, and that's great. I love that men do that. Men should, come in with their money and be protector and provider. I don't come in with money, and there's no money that is expected of me. As soon as I really met my husband, I didn't have to work. I had my business, but he usually gives me my clients for my business now. Like, he will like give me business through his business. So that's kind of like what it is. But like, being married, like, I don't work. I don't have to like pay any bills. I have access to all of the money, and he allows me to live life the way that I see fit. And that's what you get once you marry a person, and you have the protection that, hey, if anything was to happen, I'm protected. And that's what I want you ladies to think about, is like all of this stuff that you're doing. Like, even like when it comes to pets, like getting pets with a guy, you think, oh, that's so cute, he's my boyfriend, we have a dog together, da 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 da. And then like you guys end up breaking up, and then it's like, who gets the dog? Now you have to have visitation rights with the dog, because like people treat animals like their pet, like their children. So it like becomes this whole thing, and it's like just prolonging a dead situation. And I just don't believe in that. Like, I'm all for like letting go and letting things be. Like, if we don't work out, like, we don't have to stay in touch, we don't have to stay friends, like, we can move on peacefully. And I think that is like the whole point, is like, women try to do things that they think is going to hold the person to them, and then they don't want to say like, hey, I actually want marriage, because that's like the main thing to just say. Instead of getting the house, instead of getting the pet, instead of trying to joint your money together and have a joint account and living together and doing all that extra stuff, how about you just say, I'm marriage minded, I want to get married. That's my focus. And if that's not something that you want, that's perfectly fine. But that's something that I want. And if that's not what's here, then I'm going to have to look elsewhere, because that is where I see my life going. I want to get a home with someone. I want to do like life with someone. And if that's not what we're doing here, then I'm not going to do it. That is the best way to go about it, because most of the time, and this is what I always say, like most of the time, these guys will want to marry you if he knows that it's either you're going to marry me or I'm going to go. He'll marry you. He'll take that ultimatum and be like, all right, yeah, I do want to marry you. But women get so scared to just say that and just be honest about it and just, come out and say, marriage is what I want. Instead, they'll do all of these extra things that really just falsely holds you to a man and gives that man more power, and actually gives him the ability to take whatever resources you're willing to give and just give it to the next woman who he actually wants and who he actually wants to marry. And that is what I don't want for you ladies. So as I said, I've been seeing this and I just wanted to make the video and yeah, just warn you ladies, like, don't do husband and wife things with boyfriends and girlfriends. Like, that is the worst way to go about any type of relationship. Hold yourself with some respect and know that anything that you're gonna do needs to benefit you. And that's the truth, because men are thinking that way. They're thinking everything that they do benefits them. My husband providing for me actually benefits for him. Me staying home, me, being a housewife, whatever you want to call it, benefits my husband, because he doesn't have to worry about me, being out at somebody's job and men hitting on me. He doesn't have to like worry about just like all of the stress that I may be under from working for the man. He doesn't have to worry about those things. He's like, my wife is fine. She's good. She's protected. She's home. She's happy. I make her happy. And because she's happy, I'm happy. That's his idea. Now, some people may think that's dated, or, whatever they may think, that's fine. That's the life that you want to live. That's not the life that I want to live. And I don't think that's the life you ladies want to live. So yeah, protect yourself. Don't do anything for nothing, because essentially you're doing all of that stuff for nothing, because you're not his wife. So he can walk away anytime and just, go get the woman who he actually wants, who's not going to do anything until he makes that true commitment, which is really marriage. Like I said before, I did not know 100% that my husband loved me until he actually married me. So that is what I really came on here to talk to you ladies about. I hope that all made sense. I know I've been a little rusty, right? So please don't mind if I was babbling, I don't know. But I really do feel like this message needed to be put out there, because I just been seeing so much of it. And I think like when you're in it and you're young and it's new and it's fresh and it's fun, you think like, oh, this is so great, we're doing all of this. I've seen the other side of it and it's not pretty. It really isn't. And the women really do get hurt at the end of the day, because they think one way and the guy is really just doing what's convenient and what's going to benefit him at the end. Because if he doesn't marry you, he didn't really lose anything. And with you, as women, our age matters. And if you spend all this time with this guy, if you give him children, if you move in with him, if you do all of these wifely things, and you're sitting here calling him your hubby and he's saying you're wifey, but you're not actually the wife. All of these things that really, are just a waste of time and money and energy, he benefits from it. He's like, what? I had her, she's, was here. He got his sexual favors from you. He got all of this essentially, and can just walk away whenever he wants. And you're left there with with nothing, no protection. And that's just what I want to just help you ladies like see before, before you go in too deep. Now, if you're already in this situation, if you already have a child with this person and you're still in a relationship with him and you really want to get married, I would just suggest, just saying, hey, I want to get married. This is something that I want. If it's with you, I would love that. But what are we doing? Because we have a child. I want my child to grow up with a two-parent household. I want us all to have the same last name. I want a future that looks like husband, wife, and child. And do you want that with me? And I want that now. And if that's not going to happen, then you need to walk away, and you have to be prepared to walk away. Because I mean, if you're okay with just being a girlfriend for however long until he is done with you, then fine. But if you really do want marriage, regardless of, who it's with, say it be with him or be with somebody else, then you need to go after that 100%. Now, if you are with a guy who has nothing, is broke, is dusty, do not marry that guy. You want to marry and benefit from your marriage. You don't want to marry someone and it like be a benefit just to him. Like he's like, well, she has more money, she has, property, I'm gonna gain all of this from her. Like, no, you don't marry down. I'm never talking about marrying down. You want to marry someone where you become more wealthy. Like when I married my husband, I instantly gained more wealth. My net worth went up. And that's something you want out of marriage. And I want you ladies also to like connect with that. Is like, when you marry someone, like be strategic about it. Make sure like it's a good investment. It's a good idea for you to do. Not just, oh, I love him, but he's broke and he doesn't do anything but play video games all day, but I love him. Or he has this like little job, but we've been together for all this time and yeah, that's the one I'm gonna marry. Like, don't marry him then. If you're gonna stay with him, fine, but like marry someone who's worth marrying, like actual husband material, like. So yeah, that's that's my little spiel. Again, thank you ladies for subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you ladies want me to make a video on next. I'm super excited to get back into the swing of this. I really appreciate all the comments you ladies leave. I try to answer all of your questions as best as I can, and I appreciate your patience with me, for just being here, for subscribing, and thank you so much for your well wishes. I really appreciate that. But yeah, leave me a comment down below on what topics you ladies want me to talk about next. I was thinking maybe I should do like a live, and maybe I can plan it so then like we can all get on, and then you can ask me whatever questions you want to ask and I can answer them as they come in. So that's also an idea, but let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you want to do a goddess check-in, this is like a one-on-one check-in with me where we can go through your dating, maybe if you're already in a relationship, maybe if you just want to level up in other ways and you just want someone to connect with and talk to and just really get some advice and help and assistance on that part of your life, then yeah, feel free to contact me. My email is down below and you can just reach out to me there. All right, so I will see you all in the next video. Maybe it'll be a live, I don't know, you let me know down below. Okay, bye.